officer of Hobby Memorial Library, and we have with us today CTC Astronomer Warren Hart. Hey, Warren.
Hello, hello.
We have a late start. We had about 16 different difficulties, but we are here. So we have a lot of information, a lot of cool stuff that Warren has just added. And so I'm going to go ahead and let him take it away. All right,
Okay,
Warren.
thank you. Well, let's go to the page, and if you want to start with the overall astronomy page,
Here we
that's up
go.
to you.
And
There we are.
this, guys, is where we're going to be getting all of our information from. It's the LibGuide, where you have the night sky calendars, the maps, and we've added some really cool stuff you're going to go ahead and talk about, right, Warren?
That's right.
All right. So I am ready for you.
All right, let's get and go to the first week of October and get it down over there for us. And if you'll scroll it down, there you go.
Here we go.
Notice here on this coming Sunday, October the 1st, we are less than 200 days from the total solar eclipse. It will be 190 days. And then I give you also on there where the sun is would be on in October and what the moon is doing there. And then the next page, next day, Monday the 2nd, there's your astronomy LibGuide information. So Cindy, if you want to tell them about that.
Okay. Well, if you go to our library resource, our library website, go down to the resources, you hit that study guides, then go on down and you'll find Astronomy and Mayborn Science Theater. So here's our countdown for the eclipse. Some shows that are going on at the Mayborn Science Theater, some books, some databases, a little bit of everything. So this is your all one-stop shop astronomy page.
There you go. Good. And also, I put there in the afternoon or the evening for Monday, October the 2nd, the favorable planets that you'll be able to see during the night. There from Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn, and that's from sunset to sunrise. Those are be available. And then if you take a look on Tuesday the 3rd, we have the moon. Will track it a few different points here in October, and it's just barely 1 degree from what is called the Pleiades. And that other label there, M45, is another name for it, for the Messier astronomer back in the 1700s. And it's his listing. And 45, all that means is the Pleiades was the 45th thing that he looked at and he put in his log book. It doesn't mean the largest, the biggest, the brightest, dimmest, or anything like that. So that's a common listing there, and we use it for another reference. And the Pleiades, or if you want to mention that in Japanese is Subaru, S-U-B-A-R-U. And so for those who have a Subaru, you look at your logo and it's going to have the stars and there of the Pleiades, or if you want to say the Pleiades. Now, also on Tuesday, I put that we had here at the 1st of October, we have already gone through this year 64 constellations, and that's 73%, and we have 24 yet to go, that's 27%. And we're going to get into those and as we go along. Looking at Friday, we have our moon is at its 3rd quarter position. And what that means, the third quarter is when the moon has gone beyond, on past the full moon, and it's in primarily the morning time period. So when you go out in the morning to get ready to go to work, go get the newspaper, whatever you do, and you look up and you see the moon, you're looking at the third quarter moon. And there it is, and it's about 73 degrees above the horizon. Our first constellation in October, there are 7 of them, and this first one is called Sculptor the Sculptor. And so let's take a look at that page there for us, Cindy. There's not a whole lot for it as far as identifying it, but you could say that is his palette he's using to do his sculpting, or that's the chisel that he's using. That's up to your imagination. And if you notice too, just above the white area, which is designated for the constellation Sculptor in the sky, there is a purple line called the Tropic of Capricorn. And if you look just outside the box, it says minus 20 degrees on down minus 30 degrees. So we are looking at Sculptor, which happens to be in the southern hemisphere, and it's there below the Tropic of Capricorn. And that path for the Tropic of Capricorn is in the wintertime when we get in December, will be the sun in its travel will seem to go as far south as the Tropic of Capricorn, and that is then what we would call the December or the winter there's point for the sun. Okay, so let's go on there and back to our page, and let's go down, and you see on here on the 8th, it's also, we are 6 months from the total solar eclipse. And then the next thing are 2 points I've given to you concerning here. One is the planet Venus, and it's above the horizon, and it's real close to the star Regulus. That's the main star in the constellation of Leo the Lion, and you would see that in the early mornings around 6 o'clock or even just a little earlier. And then in the afternoon, evening, we go to the moon, and the moon is what at its point we call its apogee. And what does that mean? Well, if you read on, it says that it is number 7. It's the 7th farthest of the 13 apogee moon points for this year, and you can see the distance as far as relation to it. So there is a time on each of the orbits of the moon as it goes around Earth when it's farthest away from us, and we will see later on there's another one when it is the closest to us. It is a circle, but it's an elliptical circle. Now, on page on 11, on Wednesday the 11th, we have 3 of our constellations. And so the second one is Andromeda, the princess of the mythical country of Ethiopia. And the reason I designate that is because some people say, oh, Andromeda is the Princess of Ethiopia. Over, yeah, I know where that is. That's Eastern Africa. No, this is mythical Ethiopia. Back in there, the Greeks and the Romans, as far as the mythology. So here is Andromeda there. It is ideal for us in a number of ways. You're going to look to the north. Notice on the outside of the box, it's the for the latitudes, they are positive or plus 20 degrees, 30, 40, 50. And you see there just above the 30 degrees at 31.1, there's that purple line again. It goes across, and that is our latitude here where we are in the sky. So you're going to look for Andromeda almost straight above you, and you may want to have something you can lay down on or whatever. Don't try to find it and fall backward to try to find Andromeda. But there it is. And you notice down at the bottom of the Andromeda in a blue line, there is the Tropic of Cancer. So we just had the Tropic of Capricorn, which is in the southern hemisphere. Here's the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere, and that is the line showing us how far, pardon me, how far north the sun will come in the summer in June when we have our summer solstice. Excuse me. And solstice is a combination of two words, sol or for sun, and stice. It means that the sun seems to stop. And that's what we get the solstice there. So the other thing, notice right in the upper part of the Andromeda galaxy area, there is that red oblong picture labeled A. And if you go, Cindy, let's scroll on up to the last page. Keep going. There you are. And you will see down in the AM31, the big one there, and this happens to be the Andromeda Galaxy. Notice on the first line, as I go across there, it gives you, and it says 2.5 million light years from Earth, the farthest object you can see not using binoculars or a telescope. So it's visible. It will look like a smudge in the sky. And if you use binoculars, it'll be a bigger smudge. And if you use a telescope, it's even bigger, but it's a smudge. It's a galaxy of billions and trillions of stars. It's another like our own Milky Way, and this is a separate galaxy from us. So there it is there. And when you are outside and you have someone with you and you can recognize where it is, you can impress them by saying that's the farthest object you can see in the sky, and you don't have to have binoculars or a telescope. So let's scroll back up to the first page, if you would, Cindy, and we get there. And then there's some other things that all that's listed. The numbers are for the stars, and the letter items are different things there for that are not the stars that we have. Okay, let's go on. That was the second one, constellation, and on the Wednesday we'll see the same night. The third one is Phoenix the Firebird. And so Phoenix, and we're going to jump from the northern hemisphere down to the southern hemisphere. And if you notice, there's the white area for the designated area in the sky for Phoenix, and look just above it, and there is Sculptor. And so you see that we would be going south, and the Sculptor is the mythical firebird, the one that it dies at, I guess, old age or whatever, but then it resurrects itself, recreates itself, and it starts up again. So there you have it. And what is different from Sculptor is that we have our southern horizon down at the bottom of where the Phoenix constellation would be. So we're going to look at some more, but we're going to begin to lose them because they are below our southern horizon. Let's go to number 4, if you would, Cindy, back up to in there. And number 4,
Number 4 on the calendar or number
yeah,
4
right
on?
there, right
Oh,
there.
okay.
You have it right there. The 4th constellation, that's Pisces, the fishes. So let's go to it, and we're going to be jumping around, and Pisces, the fishes, is above the equator, and it straddles the equator. If you notice that, the area is north and south. So scroll up to the top of the title of it, Cindy, and it has the name there. Well, on this one, I didn't get it on there. It is both an ecliptical constellation. Notice the ecliptic goes right through it, and also the equator, it goes through it. So it's an ecliptical and an equatorial constellation. And that would give you the understanding of where you would want to look for it in the sky. And Pisces, the fishes, and notice up above it, way above there, there is Andromeda. And so we are working our way down to the south. Okay, let's go back to the calendar. And that is a busy day on Wednesday, the 11th. And then we go now over to Saturday, the 14th. So if you have this, and you're going to have to do, we have what is called, it's been advertised, the annular solar eclipse. However, where we are going to be, we are not going to be in the path. We are outside the path. And so we're not going to have the annular solar eclipse. We are going to have a partial solar eclipse. And Cindy has there, I've got 3 different pictures or documents showing the beginning, the during, and the after of the eclipse. And so if you'll go to that one, Cindy,
Yep.
find it
Hang
over
on.
there.
Hang on.
And that's all
I have
right. We'll get it.
everything up but that.
I understand. And that's
There we
under,
go.
okay, scroll. And the one on the left is the beginning. So click on that. Now it's hard to see, but you can tell up above the sun, and you get a little bit, you see there's a dark disk just above the sun. That's the moon. And we are looking at its dark side, which happens to be for a new moon. And so here is when the partial solar eclipse begins. It's when the circular uh, circumference of the moon, in essence, seems to touch the circumference of the sun. And that's when it starts at 10:23. Now you're going to have solar eclipse glasses, or looking through a telescope that's designed for it, or binoculars, or whatever for you to look. You cannot look at this without some kind of solar filter. Now let's scroll to the next one, Cindy. That's the beginning of it. And then we have to the next point on it, and we see there in the middle, there it is at its maximum position that we have for our partial solar eclipse. And you see it, the sun is still around part of, that we can see, of the moon. And that's why we call this a partial solar eclipse. We have another picture we'll show you in just a little bit of what a true annular solar eclipse looks like. but we're not there. So we're going to just stay with what we're going to see in the sky, and it's a partial solar eclipse. And then if you go to your third slide, there you go, Cindy, and there is the end. And notice on the end, it looks like the reverse of the beginning, and in a way it is. There you can see the dark side of the moon, and it is, as far as we're seeing it from our distance, it looks like it's just barely separating, if you will, from the sun's circumference there. And so that is from 11:50, 10:50, about an hour and a half is the total time for a partial eclipse. So now we do have for you, and Cindy, if you can pull up what the other one, we have what a true annular solar eclipse looks like. No, keep going. It's you have it in the eclipse,
Ring of Fire?
the Ring of Fire.
Okay.
And here it comes. No, not quite. That's the
No?
zodiacal light. Okay, keep going. We'll find it. It's under eclipses.
Yeah, I put the wrong one in.
Okay, that's all right.
Let me see if I mess it up and nope,
That's okay. Don't worry
I'm
about it.
sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Well,
What
let's go
happens when I
back
go
to,
really fast?
yeah, I understand. Let's go on back to the calendar.
Okay.
And the what we want you to make sure, and that's why I put it in large print, you must use the eclipse glasses the entire time that you're going to observe. Any part of the sun that is visible around the edge or anything like that, you have to have solar glasses, eclipse glasses that will protect your eyes. You cannot look at the sun. So let's go down to the second week of there, and here's on the 15th. Here is our fifth of the 7 constellations. And this one is a little more familiar to most of the people. It's Cassiopeia, the queen of the mythical country Ethiopia. And let's go to there for us, Cindy. Good. There you have. And again, you see it's at our northern horizon. So when you look to the north, you will see above that line that everything there is always visible. So on those stars that we have, there's 4 of them that we can see any night of the year. There's number 1, number 4, 5, and 6. Numbers 2 and 3 will go below the horizon. So that's involved in when I talk about it in the planetarium and show the people there. You you can use Cassiopeia to help you to find the North Star, but it needs to be in a certain position for you. So there is Cassiopeia, and that we have, and Cassiopeia we said was our fifth, I believe, the constellation. Yes, number 5. So we have 2 more to go and we'll get to them. But first, we're going to go and on Wednesday, the 18th of October, we're going to be doing what we're doing right now. We're having our presentation, and it's going to be I'm going to be talking about the November constellations, and that happens to be 7 more that we would have. And so come on the 18th in October at noon, and I'll help you go through the information for the month of November. Then we see over to the right on Saturday the 21st. Now our moon has gone and past the new moon. And well, when did we do the new moon? Well, that happened to be during the time of, scroll back up just a little bit, Cindy. Right there, stop. Notice in between when we were talking about the annular eclipse or our partial eclipse, see there in dark, right there at 12:56 in the afternoon, there was our new moon. And of course, whenever it's a new moon, you cannot see it. You're always looking at the dark side of it. So it makes sense then, scroll down to the next there, and that's why we're now going to look at the first quarter of for the phase of the moon. Now let's look at our next row, and we go to Tuesday the 24th. We have our 6th constellation. This is Cetus, called the sea monster or the whale, and Cindy has it ready to show us, and you'll see there. And notice, if you will, above to the right just a little bit of Cetus, there is Pisces the fishes. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. And look down below. Below there is Sculptor. So we have already talked about that also. And here is Cetus in between. And just to point out, Cetus, Pegasus, and Cassiopeia, and a number of other constellations are all involved in a story that I'll be telling in the planetarium this month in November and December. So here it is. There is Cetus, our 6th of the 7 constellations. Let's go back to the calendar. And in our calendar, we see the next thing on Wednesday, the 25th. And notice this is that other thing I talked about. Here is the perigee. And this was at the time here, this perigee, it is the 9th closest of the 13 perigee moons throughout the year of 2023. And Cindy, how is it we have determined to help us to know the difference between perigee and apogee?
Well, if it's in perigee, that means it's perilously close.
Yes,
So it's much closer if it says perigee than apogee.
there you go. So if you get perilously close perigee, well, then the other one has to be the farther one away, and that's the way it is. Now let's go to Saturday the 28th. And we have, at that time, we're going to have the full moon, and you're not going to see it. What? Warren, you put it up here. Well, yes, it's in the full moon position, but look at it. It's minus 35 degrees below the horizon. What in the world is happening? Well, the moon, as it orbits the Earth, is tilted about 5 degrees from being perfectly flat in line with our own path around the sun. It's tilted. So there's going to be a while when the moon is above the horizon, if you will, And there's also going to be a part of when the moon is going to be below the horizon. So in this case, we have right here, the moon is below the horizon. And so it's in the full moon position, but us up here in the northern hemisphere, we're not going to see it. Now, those down in New Zealand, Australia, Southern Africa, that they will see it higher in the sky, of course. Now we have our last few days of October, and we have there is above the horizon the moon. Oh, so it's going to finally start rising up at that time period, and it's in relation to it just pretty close, almost 3 degrees difference between it, the moon, and the planet Jupiter. So that should help you to find the two of them there. Then on the last day of October, we have our seventh and our last constellation, if you will, and that is called Triangulum. And there it is. Notice in relation to what we have talked about, above Triangulum is Andromeda. Oh, and to the bottom and to the right of, to the side of Triangulum is Pisces the fishes. Oh, so we are, what I do is I get the constellations at a certain time of the year when they are best able to be seen in the sky, usually in the evening, and I get them, and those that we can go from the furthest north, which would be Cassiopeia, all the way down to our furthest south, which I believe would be Phoenix the Firebird. So this gives it to you. You're not going to jump around in looking for them. You'll start with Cassiopeia and just work your way down to the south. And there is, for Triangulum, it happens to be just like Andromeda a little bit. It's right overhead at our latitude. And there down below is the Tropic of Cancer. So let's go back to the calendar. And we have here on the calendar, that's it. The sun is gone into Libra, and then we have gone through 7 additional constellations. We started off with 64, and 7 gives us 71. So at the end of October, we have gone through 71 constellations, or a little over 80% of all of the constellations. And in November, you see right there, we have 17 to go, 19%. And in November, there are 7 more constellations. Well, if you subtract 7 from 17, that leaves you in December with 10. Yep, December has the most number of all of the constellations for the month. It's got 10 constellations, and different, of course, than February, which normally has the fewest number of them. But anyway, so here's the way it goes. Now, let's scroll back up on the calendar, Cindy. I want to scroll back up to our right here to the middle line, uh, second week. Okay, right there. Starting on the 12th of October, for 2 weeks, there is going to be the ability, the capability of seeing uh, an event in the sky. It's relatively rare. It's in the spring, and it's now also in the fall. and it's called something called the zodiacal light. And what we would do is we would be able to see it if you are in a very, very dark region of the area around here. Forget it if you're in Killeen or Harker Heights or Temple, Belton, anything like that. You got to get out into the dark country and you'll be able to see what is called the zodiacal light. So Cindy, let's bring up that one right there. Now, this is a picture of what we would see of the zodiacal light. Notice, as you would see there, there's the glow from the twilight above the horizon. And there in the middle of that, it looks like uh, a lighter area. And that must be where this zodiacal light is. Scroll down to the second page, Cindy, and let's see where, yes, there it is. And so it looks like a very faint pyramid in the sky. Now, what has happened? Our path through the solar system we go. We have comets and we have androids and things like that. And as they come by, especially the comets, they are constantly dropping off, if you will, from their main head of the comet and also the tail, what is called um, dust, comet dust, and also android uh, uh,
Android or
not
asteroid?
asteroid. Yeah, well,
Okay.
I was looking at something else here. Asteroid, yeah, asteroid dust. Also, as it comes into our solar system, closer to us here, then what is all of that dust up there at this time of the year in our fall? The path for the ecliptic is horizontal, if you will, along the horizon. And vertically, then, from that is we get the reflection from the sun, and it makes those little particles of the dust to glow or shine, however you want to say, in the sky. And so that's why it's called the zodiacal light. And for that's the path of the zodiac, or as I call it, also the eclipse. So this is ecliptical light, I would say. And that would be, and if we now, let's go back to the calendar, to that page. And what you would need to do if you want to see this, you would from Thursday the 12th through to the 26th, approximately, there through Thursday the 26th, you can look to the east in the evening and pardon me, in the morning, and you would be about 6:10, 6:15 in the morning, and you can pick it out as you go along there each day and become familiar with it. You can then see it, and each day it's just about a minute later that you get up, and so eventually by the 26th it would be around maybe 6:15 to 6:20 in that. So that's our events for October. we have a number of different things that are going on. Some are don't happen every month like this, and uh, just enjoy sharing this with you as far as becoming more and more familiar with the night sky. And like I said, on Saturday the 28th, I will be going through again the calendar and the events there in the planetarium, and will be able to show you uh, some more things of these that I cannot do here just by talking and referencing to the calendar. Now, we are coming up pretty close to our end time. Does anyone have any questions or anything called in?
Any questions yet, Alyssa?
No, we don't have any questions right now.
We got the smartest group in the world. They just don't have to ask any questions. So,
Well, you tell us everything we need,
oh,
which is
okay.
great. Let's look at it that way. All
All
right.
right.
Well,
All
and
right. Well, let's
guys,
get Cindy. You got time? Why don't you give them a heads up to some library events coming up?
I sure will. All righty. So guys, we have a lot of things going on. This Sunday at the library. Yes, we're going to be at the library. We're going to have community authors who are going to come. These are published authors. They're going to come and tell you a little bit about their books, and then you can go ahead and meet the published authors. They're going to have some of their books. They can do autographs and whatever. This will be from 1 to 3 p.m. at the library. The community is invited to this, and we hope you guys will come on out because these published authors work very hard, and let's just support our local authors here. We also, speaking of books, have Book Week that starts next week. We're going to have all of our banned books on display at the library, so you can come and check them out. Close your ears, Warren.
Okay, there, if you need to scroll back up, because keep going.
There's
There,
what?
keep going. No, go on up. Keep going. There's your banned books, isn't it?
Where's my banned books?
Oh, that's byways. Okay.
No, that's
There's the banned
byways.
book. Okay,
That's
there's
not
banned
ban. We're
book
not
right
banning
there.
byways. Well, so for Monday's event, we're going to be talking about the Game of Thrones. It'll be a live stream on Facebook. Then on Tuesday, we're doing graphic novels, and that will also be here on Facebook. On Wednesday, we have faculty from the communications department that's going to talk about their favorite banned books. Then on the same day, we are going to have our little pets come from Hawker Heights Animal Shelter. Colleen one couldn't bring, they didn't have enough people, but the Hawker Heights one will be here. They will have their little forever pets for you to adopt. We also have a contest where you can email us your pet photos. They need to be turned in by October 3rd. You send them to reference request and include your contact information, and the people from Hawker Heights will be doing the judging and will have prizes on that. So definitely participate in that. Speaking of contests, we have the horror video contest. You've got to turn your video in by October 10th. And if you click on the flyer, you will see all the various rules that needs to take place in that video. And the top winners will be shown at the Planetarium Dome on the Haunted House weekend. So make sure you get that to us. Make sure you get it to us in an MP4 format. that is open to everyone. So if you're in the community and you want to participate, you can go ahead and come to our events page, click on this link, or do the QR code and get registered. Another one of our contests are coming up, a poetry slam and open mic. It's open to everyone. Then you make sure that you come to our events page, you click on that link, or you do the QR code for that and register. You must be registered in order to speak at the poetry slam and open mic. And you must be registered by October the 10th for that one as well. You can't just walk in and have an open mic. So make sure you get that registered. And one more contest, excuse me, if you are a CTC student, make sure you check out our byways. Excuse me. I'm up. Show you where it's at. Right here on our website. It is a published journal. And if you are chosen as one of the finalists, you are published. So lots of things going on with Hobby Memorial Library. And I'm choking on it. It's so much. But that's all I've got, Warren.
Okay. When you mentioned the banned books,
Yes.
reminded me I used to have a cartoon that I had cut out and kept until a friend wanted to borrow it for a little time. That's been, I think, in the previous century when he borrowed it. But anyway, it shows a picture of a big conference table, long rectangular table, and there are adult men and women sitting all around it. And the fella at the head of it is grinning, and everybody has a book in front of them. And he says, "This is great. Let's all read it through one more time and then we'll censor it for everybody else."
Well, we don't get that involved. We just put whatever is on a banned book or challenge list on a table, and it's like you can pick it up and check it out, or you don't have to pick it up. And people are very surprised every year when we do this, what has been banned,
Hmm.
and you can tell, like, what was banned in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. So it's really an interesting historical lesson about, the values of society at different times. So it would be a really interesting thing for all of our history students, our literature students as well. So make sure you come on to the library next week and check it all out. Okay.
How far back does the library go on banned books? What years or you
It's
talk
just
about?
if we pulled them as most challenge and the 100 most challenged ones. So
Okay.
we have things like Catch 22. Um, we have a lot of the classics that are going to be on our banned books,
Wow.
tables. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay.
Yes, yes. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out. Come on over to the library. So, all right,
Oh,
Warren. Well, thank you so much. Even though we started late, we ended on time. So we
yep.
did good.
All right. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
All right. And we'll see you guys next time. And actually, we'll see you guys next Monday for our virtual band book. So, all right. Bye.
Bye-bye.